Hello everyone, thank you for joining. Today's design is going to be the September member spotlight collab with lip smacking nails. Our member spotlight this month is Swatch It With Me, so if you haven't already, please go and check out her channel. She is an amazing artist and she has inspired me to go out of my comfort zone and try out some things that I just have never done before. My design I'm working on here is a mushroom little fairy house. I'm using the Simway Espresso New Jelly Collection and some glow-in-the-dark Savaland that I have. I'm also trying out some rainbow nail supply cat eyes in this design, but first I'm starting out with creating the little tree house, and I am using the darkest one that I have of the espresso jelly because I wanted it to look like a little tree. And here I am just using a tiny liner brush and slowly going in and filling in the silicone mold that I have. I noticed that when you're working with these, it's much easier to spread it out a little bit, but this is the first time I'm ever trying them, so hence the reason why I am explaining it to you now. I am explaining to you out of experience from what I learned not to do and what to do in doing this design. And I'm just trying to go around the entire mold. As you see here, I did realize that I needed to stretch it out a little bit so I can get into those nooks and crannies. This again was very challenging for me, but it was super fun. I chose to go with this design also because I noticed she uses a lot of mushroom designs in her videos, so I thought that this 3D mushroom mold would go perfect. So here I am just going around making sure I got all the edges. Then I will finish up by cleaning up the side. I'm actually going to speed this up a little bit because it is taking a little bit longer than I thought. I know this is going to be a pretty long video, but let's see if we can't get through it pretty quickly here. So next I'm going to be going in with my small dotting tool, and I'm just going to make some tiny little dots of yellow on the very top of this little mushroom tree house, just because I want it to be more I don't know, I guess I just wanted to have like the little dots on top of the mushroom. So I'm just going to put 3 little dots in random different places. Then I'll cure that into place. I didn't speed up this portion because I wanted you to see it in real time, and it would have just been too quick to go through. So there's the 3 little dots going into the top. There's a little tiny mushroom on the very top, so it's like the roof is a mushroom, and so I'm gonna cure that. Next here I'm gonna go in with another mushroom. I was thinking about going with the green, and then I decided not to, and then I just make the stems yellow. I don't know what happened to the rest of the video creating the little fairy house mushroom, but it got lost somewhere, and I think I probably paused it or something and forgot to start it up again. But this is just the tiniest little set of mushrooms here. So as you can see, I'm just cleaning the side up, and I'll cure that so I can go in with the next color. Now going in with the glow-in-the-dark red for the tops of the mushrooms here. This was so much fun, but it was very intricate, so I really had to take my time. This set took me about 2 hours just to do 5 nails, but honestly it was a really fun job. And this is the tiny mushroom. Look at that tiny little mushroom. And that's the little fairy house. So that'll be going on 1 nail. Next here I'm going to be doing a full color on the ring fingernail, and this is just like this pretty peridot green, and I chose peridot green because Marie's birthstone is peridot, whatever you call it, her birthstone being in August. So we just passed her birthday, so happy birthday. The green nail here, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with that nail, but I did want to make sure that it was matching tone-wise to the set. And then here I am looking and seeing which one I'm going to do next. And I decided to just go in and try to make the tiniest little flowers that I could. And then I went in with a bigger mushroom. But this one here is the glow-in-the-dark Savalanche. So this nail set actually glows in the dark. It has some cat eye. I put some gems. I did all kinds of stuff. Just a whole bunch of stuff out of my comfort zone. And I really think that bringing all these elements together, it really made a big, huge difference. So now here I'm just going in with the smallest, tiniest little dot here in the center, because let me tell you, these flowers were so small, and I couldn't believe I even seen the dots, but I had to keep on checking on the other side of the mold just to make sure I got it correct and right in the center, curing as I go. Now I'm going to go in with my LGN Pro No Wipe Rhinestone Glue, and I'm going to attach the fairy house and the mushroom to the middle fingernail. And this is here you see me trying to take off any extra edges that were left when it cured, that I didn't get off with the little micro cotton tip little swab thingy. And I'm sorry, the underside of my nails look crazy because I kept on spraying them with alcohol. So I decided just to get my little cuticle scissors, my precision cuticle scissors, just to cut the edges off of the gel on the edges of the little molds. And sorry, I'm out of focus, but here I am. I just was filling in some holes. This is why I say you needed to stretch out the mold, because as you can see, I'm over here trying to fill in spots, and I'm sorry I got out of focus, but I was really trying to see, and then I realized that I wasn't in the camera, so then that's me. But look at how cute that little house is. I just think it turned out really awesome. And because they are already in a curved mold, the backing came out rounded, so it was easy to apply onto the nail. Next, I'm going to fill in all of the leaves on this little small, I found this tiniest little flower mold that I thought would be pretty cool. And this one was pretty shallow, so it was really nerve-wracking, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pull it off and take out the molds without it breaking. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going to try and see it if I can do it. And if it works, it works. If not, then, well, that's okay too. At least I learned. At least I tried. And now I'm filling in all these little flowers of straining on my part just to be able to see the small designs and make sure that they were fully saturated and to make sure that the definition was all there. So now that you guys know basically the steps I took for these silicone molds, I'm gonna play some music so you guys can enjoy me trying to learn new techniques and trying out this silicone mold. I will be back on the next step.
Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
Next, I'm going to be adding some charms to the design to to make it look like there's little butterflies flying above it. I'll put a smaller one and I'll put a bigger one on the top. Flash cure that in place. Once I got it flash cured where I think it's going to stick, I'll go ahead and go in and put the other one on there. And once again, I didn't realize that I was so out of focus. And there we go. Flash cure that put that in the lamp real quick. Work on the flowers again. These flowers took so much time because they were so small and I had to just use the very tip of my mini liner brush. Going back and forth, checking the design. I found the easiest way to complete this set was to just work on not one nail at a time, but do several different ones at the same time. That way it was easier and it didn't take me as much time. But like I said, I did speed up this video just to make it a little more easier to watch. Here now I found the peridot colored rhinestones that I will be adding as my little tribute to Marie. And I thought these green rhinestones and the mushrooms were a perfect combination. And then as soon as I started thinking about mushrooms, I just went into like a fairy garden theme. But I honestly, in the beginning, I didn't know how these nails were going to come out. I pretty much just went along as I was going along. So this is what is working. And I think that they turned out pretty cute, but we'll see in the end. And I will play some music a little bit more for you guys. I hope you enjoy watching. I'll be back on the next step. you see me applying the 3D flowers that I created, just trimming off the little excess at the tip. And then I decide that I don't know what I'm going to put on the thumbnail. So then I started thinking about putting another flower, but then I thought, no, well, let's go back with the mushroom theme. So here I am just adding some more brown, a little bit lighter this time. And I'm going to be using this like long curly mushroom that I thought was like a perfect fairy mushroom to complement this little fairy garden nail set that I created. And this one was, I think, of all of them, even though I thought that the flowers were really hard, this one was really, really hard because not only was the stem super thin, but the actual mushroom head was super deep. But in the end, I am not unhappy with the choices that I made for this design. It did take me a lot of effort, and it definitely brought me out of my comfort zone. And I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but I've got to just keep on reminding you that no matter what you think you know how to do, you never know until you try. Here I'm applying another flower. Surprisingly enough, none of the flowers in this silicone mold were damaged. They all turned out really nice. Going in again with a little bit of red because I'm going to do the same effect as I did with the little tree house, but I'm going to do it on this large mushroom. So I've got to fill in these 3 little tiny dots, or 3 or 2 little tiny dots that were on the mushroom itself at the very tip. So I had to like kind of spread it out so I can see, and just put the tiniest little amount of gel polish inside. As you can see, I am going back and forth with the nails just to really get this done. It was a pretty late night. I did this after the live feed with me and Katie last night, so it was already pretty late. So I was not trying to hurry to try to get it done, but it was pretty late. I was getting tired. And then here I'm going in with some more of the yellow Savalan glow in the dark, and I'm just going to coat the very inner areas of the mushroom top. Me realizing I didn't have not nearly enough gel in there, because I'm telling you, it was really deep. So I'm just trying to stuff it all in there, trying to make sure there isn't any bubbles whatsoever, because on the first little treehouse design, I did have 2 different bubbles of that I needed to fill in after it was already out of the mold and cured. And then just going in, just filling it in as much as I can. And I really did take my time, so I really hope that you like this set, Marie. I hope that I was able to hit the nail on the head with this design, and I hope that everything, all the aspects and all the elements that I included in this design do somewhat meet your personality. And then just me trying to show you the glow in the dark, but you really couldn't see. I had too much light going on in the video. Here there is just 2 other random leaves that I'm going to be adding to the design. pushing it down with my silicone back of the tweezers. Waiting for that mushroom to cure. I'm gonna go in with like these aurora beads on this little pinky nail that I put 2 butterfly stickers on. And I didn't know like how I was gonna put these on. Just knew I wanted to use them, and I wanted to use some stones as well. And then so here you see I just started putting them on with no particular rhyme or reason or how I was going to do it, but as soon as I did have them on the nail, then I could see more or less how I was going to set them on the nail to make it look like it was intentional or make it look beautiful. And then I decided, because they were 2 butterflies, I was just going to go ahead and swirl it down the middle of the nail to make it look like a little swirl. Then I'll go ahead and cure that. Coming back to the flowers, I decided that they were just missing something. So then I added little clusters of these tiny green rhinestones. I decided at this point I would slow down the video a little bit just so you can get a better visual on how the design is working out, how I'm applying all the different charms and rhinestones. I know it's not a very good video. I guess I should have probably thought about recording it a little bit better. But again, I'm still learning, and I just got this new light, so I am going to have to figure out how to position it to where I got a better view of what I'm doing right in front of me. Adding some more of the butterfly charms that I had. I'm just going to add one at the very top of the flowers. I wanted it to be like a butterfly fairy garden theme. And then going back to the butterfly nail, I decided to get my McCart rhinestone glue and just go over the stickers to make them pop and like bring them out. And I'm going to flash cure. And I'll go on to the other butterfly and do the same thing. And I'm going to put in some music so you guys can enjoy watching this video. So next up, for the other nail that I have that I didn't have a design for, I decided to create a bouquet of lilies. And at first, when I was going to do the design, I thought I would do some stamping designs, but my maniology order hasn't arrived yet. It is still in progress. So to improvise, I decided just to go in with something similar and create my own 3D charms. And I thought that would go good with the same kind of sort of thing. And here we are ripping out not ripping, but trying to stretch out the mushroom, and I realized maybe I should cure it a little bit more, so I put it back in the lamp. And then here I'm going in with some green cat eye stems. I did mix it a little bit with the green glow in the dark Savaland. And these ones were so pretty. I used the purple cat eye and I used the purple glow in the dark for the different flowers. So I will let you watch it from here. Hopefully you got some inspiration from this video to go out of your element and try something new, try something you have not done before, something that you may think that you're not capable of doing, because you never know until you try. Now it's time to apply my little mushroom to the thumbnail. I'm just going to press it down to make sure that I have it laying down flat. And I'm going to cure that. Going in with the finishing touches on the flowers. Making sure I get into the tiny little crannies and creases of the petals because that was the hardest. I couldn't find anything that would be small enough to reach into the side of the creases, but this seemed to work out pretty good as long as I pushed the bristles down into it, curing that, and then trying to figure out what I'm going to put on that other nail. Here I'm just going to add another butterfly just as I did on the other nails because I wanted to keep it consistent with the butterflies and the mushrooms. As well as add along the side of the butterfly side, I'm gonna add like a string of gems, and then I decide to align the cuticle of the nail as well with these same size gems. I really hope you were able to catch all the details of this video. I know I was out of the camera's sight for a lot of it, but I do apologize. I was really focused on this set. I did put a lot of thought and I did put a lot of time into this set, so I was really trying to make sure that the end result was just amazing as I could possibly get it to be. I will let you watch me add the gemstones, add a little bit of music, and then I will be back right before the end, and then I will show you the big reveal of the entire set. the final results. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and my inspiration for my member spotlight. Marie, I hope you really like this set. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment, and check out Lip Smacking Nails. Thank you, everybody.